Okay, let's dive into this specific moment. That feeling,
Hmm.
after all the big talks at the Council of Elrond, the plans,
Mm.
the Fellowship finally steps out.
Mm.
And it's not just leaving, is it? It feels like a plunge.
Oh, absolutely. A plunge into the unknown.
Yeah.
That's really the core of what we're exploring today. Chapter 15 of the Fellowship of the Ring Goes South.
Yeah.
And what's so compelling is how Tolkien manages that shift. You go from Rivendell, the last homely house, this place of, well, relative safety,
Right.
to immediate exposure.
Right.
The wide, dangerous world hits them straight away. The mission, which was all discussion before, suddenly gets very, very real.
Exactly. And that's our mission here, isn't it? To unpack why this chapter feels like such a pivotal moment. It's way more than just changing location.
Mm-hmm.
It's the point where the idea of the quest slams into, cold, hard reality. We're using the chapter itself, obviously, to see how Tolkien builds that tension, sets up those early kind of fragile group dynamics.
And really lays the groundwork for everything that's about to happen. If you look at the whole story arc, this chapter is like a hinge. Everything before was build-up, planning, finding things out. Everything after flows directly from them, leaving Rivendell and facing these first hurdles. It's where the Fellowship stops being a concept and starts being, well, these specific people tied to this terrifying goal.
So, leaving Rivendell sounds simple, but the text gives it such weight, doesn't it, emotionally?
Definitely.
It's not just, okay, new scenery. It feels like losing something vital, losing safety. Frodo's better, Winter's there, and bam, they're out. From protected guests to tiny figures in a huge, unfriendly world.
That vulnerability, that's the key feeling, I think. Rivendell is this little pocket of light, but the shadows are pressing in.
Yeah.
And stepping outside that border, they immediately feel that darkness. Tolkien shows it not just by saying it, but through the problems they hit right away.
And then there are the 9 of them, introduced as this group, the Fellowship. But Tolkien's quick to show how different they all are, isn't he?
He really is.
You've got Frodo, the ring bearer, and Sam, completely loyal. Merry and Pippin, they seem cheerful, but there's real strength there too.
Loyal friends.
Then the men. Aragorn, with his hidden destiny.
Yeah.
Boromir. Powerful. Yeah, but you already see that little flicker of the rings pull on him.
Yeah, even that early.
So, this initial group shot, all united, but all so different. What does that tell us about the road ahead?
Well, it tells us it's going to be complicated. Tolkien isn't just throwing together action heroes. He's deliberately mixing races, histories, viewpoints, all these things that naturally clash.
Right.
So this unity they start with, it's born out of pure necessity, but underneath, those differences are just waiting to bubble up under pressure. Think about Boromir's thoughts on the ring, almost possessive.
Yeah.
Compared to the hobbits, just putting one foot in front of the other, it's like a preview of all the conflicts to come.
And even right at the start, with everyone agreeing to go, you can feel those tiny cracks forming, can't you? Like Tolkien saying, look, holding this together, it's going to be hard.
Exactly. The elf, the dwarf, the men, the hobbits, they're fundamentally different beings. It's not easy. So this chapter plants those little seeds of conflict, makes their initial agreement feel bigger, and the later struggles feel earned.
Okay, let's talk about Gandalf's plan. Or maybe his strategy. He's all about secrecy.
Yeah.
Stay off the roads, keep quiet, watch constantly. It's not some grand march.
No, it's cloak and dagger, really.
What does that focus on secrecy tell us about Sauron's power?
It tells us it's overwhelming. Simple as that. They can't possibly win a straight fight. Their only chance is to slip through the cracks, unseen.
Right.
The whole mission, destroy the ring and Mordor itself, demands stealth. It really highlights how unbalanced things are, this tiny group against a Dark Lord with, legions.
But even with Gandalf being super careful, being wise, they immediately run into this massive physical problem. Mount Caradhras. The snow, the cold.
Yeah.
Brutal. It's like this instant slap in the face. A reminder that even the best plans can just get crushed by the world itself. What's the point of hitting them with that so early?
I think Caradhras is a huge symbol. It shows the journey is unpredictable. Strategy and wisdom. Important, yes. But they're still subject to forces way bigger than them. This first failure. It just drives home how massive the task is. And maybe, just maybe, the land itself doesn't want them to succeed. It raises the stakes immediately. No easy path here.
And Tolkien really makes Caradhras feel alive, doesn't he? The way he describes the storm, the falling rocks, it's almost like the mountain itself is angry, pushing them back.
Yes. It's not just a mountain. It's an antagonist in that moment. Giving it that personality, that sort of malevolence, elevates it. It's more than just a tough climb.
Right.
It foreshadows the bigger, truly evil forces they'll face, and failing there, it forces them off their planned route, shows that every single choice has these huge knock-on effects they can't predict.
Which sort of leads us to the ring itself. It's there, always there, but subtly in this chapter. Frodo doesn't say much.
No, he's quiet.
But you feel the weight he's carrying. You see it in how Gandalf watches him, how concerned he is. And you definitely see it in how Boromir keeps looking at it, thinking about it.
Yeah.
How does Tolkien manage that?
Yeah.
Making the ring felt without Frodo spilling it out.
It's clever. He uses the reactions around Frodo. Gandalf's worry tells you how heavy the burden must be. Boromir's fascination that shows the ring's corrupting power, even on someone trying to be noble.
Yeah.
It creates this background hum of dread. You know, this thing is dangerous, messing with people's minds, even when it's just sitting there quietly. It foreshadows those internal battles within the Fellowship itself.
But thank goodness for the other hobbits, right?
Yeah.
Sam is just solid rock loyalty.
Absolutely.
And Merry and Pippin, they bring that bit of lightness, that resilience. It stops the whole thing from just being unbearably grim. Why are they so essential?
They're the heart, in a way. Their simple courage, their loyalty, even their, occasional silliness.
Yeah.
It's a contrast to the darkness. They remind everyone, the characters and us, reading what they're actually fighting for. Home, friendship, simple good things. They're a source of hope, really. Proof that ordinary people can face extraordinary things.
And we can't forget the sparks flying between Legolas and Gimli. That immediate dislike.
Yeah. Based on centuries of baggage between elves and dwarves.
Right. It's the start of this relationship that gets totally changed by everything they go through together. What does that initial bickering show us about the Fellowship's own challenges?
It shows just how deep the divisions in Middle-earth run. The fact that these two, from races that often distrusted each other, have to work together. It underlines how desperate the situation is. And spoiler alert, the fact that they eventually do become friends is incredibly powerful. It's a symbol that maybe these old hatreds can be overcome. Hope for the whole world, maybe.
So Caradhras blocks them. Failure. And it pushes them towards a really scary alternative.
Yeah.
The Mines of Moria.
Yeah, the decision hangs heavy.
The way it's presented, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is serious now. This is a descent into darkness, ancient dangers, the unknown. What does choosing Moria mean for them at this point?
It means the risk level just shot way up. They're leaving the known world, essentially wind, snow, mountains. Okay, hard, but understandable. Moria is different.
Shadow, legend, bad things happen there.
Exactly. Forgotten evils. This choice changes everything for them. It leads them into new kinds of danger, shapes the whole rest of the journey, really.
Yeah.
It just reinforces that feeling of being constantly backed into corners, forced into more and more dangerous paths.
Which kind of sums up the whole feeling of this chapter, doesn't it? Uneasy beginning.
Yeah.
That feels right. It's not about big fights or victories yet.
No, not at all.
It's about that creeping dread, those first signs of strain in the group before they've even properly bonded. What's the main thing we should take away about, well, beginnings from this chapter?
I think it's the sheer difficulty of it, of taking that first step out of safety, moving into uncertainty, into real danger. It reminds you that heroism often starts small, not with a grand charge, but with just deciding to face the fear and keep going, even when the odds look terrible.
Yeah.
It's about having the guts to start something hard, even when the first steps are unsteady and the obstacles seem, well, mountainous, literally in their case.
So wrapping up our deep dive on the Ring Goes South,
Yeah.
we've really seen that shift, haven't we? From Rivendell's peace to the world's dangers. We saw their first big roadblock at Caradhras. Felt those early group dynamic, the loyalty, the tension,
Legolas and Gimli, yeah.
and that fateful, ominous decision to head towards Moria.
And hopefully you listening can see now how this chapter really builds the foundation. It shows you exactly how dangerous the quest is right from the start. It introduces the fractures that will test them, sets that mood, that foreboding tone.
Yeah, it really establishes the stakes,
Yeah.
what they stand to lose and how hard it's going to be.
It's just brilliant writing, setting all that up so effectively.
It really is. Makes you think, though. Maybe consider a time in your own life when you started something challenging, something where you didn't know the outcome. What were those first hurdles like? And, what kept you putting one foot in front of the other when things felt uncertain? Something to ponder.